Speaking of creating my own segue and terrible things that continue with no end in sight, Moms for Liberty and these idiot conservatives who just cannot help themselves by creating controversies around themselves while they are guilty of the thing that they point the finger at everyone else about.
Well, and of course, Moms for Liberty is known for these attacks on school boards, wanting to ban books, particularly related to LGBTQ plus issues, related to sexual content that they allege that is in the books that they don't want their kids to see. And what always ends up happening with these conservatives that are obsessed with sex is that they, in their private lives, seem to be, in the words of Ben Stiller, freaky naughty.
I can't find it.
And, you know, you've seen Dodgeball. Come on, everyone. It's a great film, classic film. And that is the case with Bridget Ziegler, who is the co-founder of Moms for Liberty, who is now embroiled in a sex scandal with her husband. And the accusation is that her husband has actually been accused of sexual assault.
Real freaking naughty.
There we go. Jesse always coming through. The other allegation, in addition to her husband being accused of sexual assault, is that they were engaged in a three-way relationship. There was another woman that entered the relationship, and they had a sexual encounter with her. So of course,
freaking naughty.
This is and again, there's no judgment here for people that are watching this and they're like, you know, I do this, I feel judged.
They're angered by the drop.
Real freaking naughty.
Whatever people like to do, okay? If I see an opportunity for a joke, I'm going to take an opportunity, okay? If we're going to find an opportunity to drop freaky naughty, we're going to drop it. So
you know why?
She's not a Christian!
So Bridget Ziegler is still in a position of power, and there are now...
and her husband, by the way, I don't know if you mentioned it, the chairman of the Florida Republican Party.
Yeah, so they have power. I mean, they are high up in a position of power where it relates to Republican politics in Florida. And now, because of this threesome situation and her husband being accused of sexual assault, there is pressure on her to resign.
Having sex with another woman in a threesome with her husband is not the issue. But when you claim the moral high ground and then you attack the moral integrity of others, the blatant hypocrisy of Mrs. Ziegler, and how it reflects on the credibility of this board is a significant concern.
Rudolph Lusek is talking about this woman, Bridget Ziegler.
Know who their candidates are for school board, know where they stand, and hold them accountable.
She's a co-founder of the conservative group Moms for Liberty, and on Tuesday was asked to voluntarily resign from the Sarasota County School Board.
If you were in support of everyone having, these illicit type of relationships, then that wouldn't matter.
Ziegler, a close ally of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, helped author Florida's parental rights and education law, dubbed by critics as the Don't Say Gay bill. It removed discussion of sexual orientation and identity from public schools' curriculum. DeSantis also appointed her to the board that manages Disney's special taxing district.
The resolution recommends that Bridget Ziegler immediately take all steps necessary to voluntarily resign.
Now, she's under intense criticism for a sex scandal involving her husband, Christian Ziegler, the chair of the Florida Republican Party, and a woman accusing him of rape. According to an affidavit, the woman told police that there was a planned sexual encounter with both Christian and Bridget Ziegler in October. Bridget canceled, leading the other woman to also cancel, but Christian still showed up at the woman's home. Bridget, who hasn't been accused of criminal wrongdoing, admitted the couple had a previous three-way sexual encounter with the woman, quote, over a year ago, and that it only happened one time.
Ms. Ziegler, you have tarnished the soul of the school board here with hypocrisy and duplicity.
Ziegler sat stoically through the 3 hours of public comment at a school board meeting Tuesday night and gave no indication of stepping down from the school board as her husband is being investigated.
As people may know, I serve on another public board, and this issue did not come up, and we were able to forge ahead with the business of the board.
Still, she got an earful from the community.
Resign.
The majority of those that showed up criticized her, though she did have some support.
What an adult does in her private life is hers. It's not for you to judge.
But some in the community are pointing to Ziegler's hypocrisy in passing judgment on others.
We hear about all of those hypocrites for my entire life. It's always do as I say, not as I do.
The fallout from the sex scandal and the criminal investigation has been swift. A Moms for Liberty chapter in Pennsylvania split from the national group, and top Republican officials in Florida, including Governor DeSantis, have called on Christian Ziegler to resign.
I don't know that you have any real standing with that hanging over you.
In a statement, Christian Ziegler's attorney said, quote, "We are confident that no charges will be filed and Mr. Ziegler will be completely exonerated."
I guess that's one way of putting it, is do as I say, not as I do, or threesomes for me and none for thee. These people, listen, I've been talking about this for months and months and months, if not years, since Donald Trump came on the scene, but hypocrisy shouldn't be something that we just accept. It shouldn't be just oh yeah, what a bunch of hypocrites. It should be unacceptable for our leaders, whether that be school board or whether that be the president of the United States. There should be a single standard, and if you violate it, you're on the outs. When you have power, political power especially, you should be held to a higher standard. So whoever the commenter was that says, this is whatever someone does in the privacy of their homes, that's their business. Yes, that is true, until you start judging, and I think they added the comment, no one should judge. But if you're one that judges, you're going to have, what's the scripture in the Bible about judge not yet lest you be judged, and deal with the plank in your own eye before trying to remove the speck out of someone else's eye. You know, if you're going to be rambling on about people's sexual lives and their behaviors and then be doing the same thing yourself, get GTFO.
Yeah, and it goes beyond judgment. It is Bridget Ziegler and Christian Ziegler are in positions of power. They are influencing people to vote for Republicans. They are influencing policy that then affects people, adults, and what they do in their private life. Yeah. So take your own advice, guy who was defending Bridget Ziegler, saying that what an adult does in her private life is hers. I agree, but let's apply that principle universally and not just to the co-founder of Moms for Liberty. Also, people might be watching this and thinking, okay, it's a little weird. They talked about her husband is being accused of sexual assault, and then this whole thing was about her and how she participated in a threesome. And I think, I get that if someone is thinking that, but related to Christian Ziegler, he's under investigation by the police. He's facing similar pressure to resign as chairman of the Republican Party of Florida. He apparently requested a buyout to provide a, quote, soft landing for his potential resignation. He's denying that claim to NBC News, but
he wants to get paid.
He wants to get paid before he leaves. And so hopefully he will receive the consequences for his actions. And they are definitely very serious, and that needs to be talked about too.
It's wild to me how obviously sex scandals are bipartisan. They happen on both sides. But the lion's share of the sex scandals in recent memory are from Republicans, and from Republicans who claim they stand on a mount next to Jesus, judging everyone below. You got your Matt Schlapps and your Matt Gateses and these ding-dongs and Roy Moore. And I mean, it's just the Donald Trump himself. The list goes on and on and on and on. Roger Stone is another one who used to advertise in swinger magazines and just lived the lifestyle, which is fine. But don't be the person who casts judgment and turns up your nose as though you are better than everyone while you're doing the very same thing that you opine is evil or immoral or sinful or whatever. Just gross.